Hey, what's going on, everybody? So, sometime back, I got a request from Terry Speaks, I'm sorry. And here she is right here. She wanted me to basically look at the two Baltimore alleged victims and to kind of review their story and offer some commentary. So, this video is going to be dedicated to Terry Speaks, and we're going to look at the Baltimore victims. So, before I get into this, what I'm going to do this time, I'm actually just going to let the video play, and then after the video has played, I'll come back with my commentary.
Baltimore women are accusing R. Kelly of sexually assaulting them after his concert in our city back in 1996. Young teens at the time, they snuck out to see their idol perform at the Baltimore Arena. And tonight they are telling their story exclusively to WJZ. And in a major development, another Baltimore woman has come forward, a witness to what happened at a downtown hotel. Girls have flyers for an after party at the Baltimore Grand nightclub at Saratoga and Howard. They're living a dream.
R. Kelly was scoping us out through a crowd.
The women tell WJZ they're given marijuana and alcohol, then invited back to the hotel with R. Kelly. At what point did it turn from exciting and cool, you're with R. Kelly, to terror?
He entered the room already, exposing himself to us.
Scared, Rochelle shut herself in the bathroom. That's when Latrice alleges R. Kelly sexually assaulted her, something she describes at a recent news conference.
When Kelly was alone with me, he asked me to perform oral sex on him. I was under the influence of marijuana and alcohol, and I did it. He then had sexual intercourse with me, even though I did not have the capacity to consent.
And in incredible development, a local woman saw that news conference and instantly recognized the women and their story.
Sabrina.
23 years after Sabrina saw Latrice stumbling off the hotel elevator, these women are reunited for the first time with WJZ cameras rolling. An emotional, overwhelming moment, knowing that together they will seek justice against R. Kelly.
I've thought about them for many, many years.
Did you know how old she was at that point?
No, but I knew they were young. You could clearly see she was in pain. She was in pain. She couldn't walk. She was bent over, walking alongside of the wall. And she began to tell me that she was in a room with R. Kelly, and you know, they had sex. It was very rough. And he left her on the bed and said he would come back. He never came back. Security came and told her Robert said meet him in the lobby.
You can corroborate their story.
I sure can.
The fact that she's been waiting for us to do, come forward. It's just, I can't believe it. I'm just really shocked.
They tell the same story, even though they haven't spoken nor seen each other since that night. They are now represented by Gloria Allred, a nationally prominent attorney who prosecutes high-profile sexual assault cases.
A celebrity does not have a license to hurt people just because he is a celebrity.
I want the people in Baltimore to know that I am not a liar whatsoever. I also want them to know this has happened to me. I have no reason to lie on this man.
All three women have spoken with federal prosecutors. Despite repeated attempts to reach R. Kelly's attorney, we never received a call back. As for that witness, Sabrina, she told us R. Kelly invited her to the same hotel. She was also at the concert. But after seeing what had happened to Latrice, she turned around and left. Now, you can watch in-depth interviews with her and the others involved in this case on WJZ.com.
So, there are a lot of things in this story that just really don't make sense to me. And it really stands out and makes me not believe these women, right? So, one of the first things that stands out, and it basically doesn't make any sense, is that you're trying to hold R. Kelly responsible for giving you alcohol and marijuana, but you basically say in your commentary that you were given marijuana and alcohol. So if R. Kelly gave you the marijuana and alcohol, wouldn't you say that R. Kelly gave me the marijuana and alcohol? Check it out.
They're living a dream.
R. Kelly was scoping us out through a crowd.
The women tell WJZ they're given marijuana and alcohol, then invited back to the hotel with R. Kelly. At what point?
So R. Kelly clearly didn't give you marijuana and alcohol. So you came to the hotel room drunk and high. How is it his fault that you come to the hotel room drunk and high? So you can't really associate you being drunk and high with R. Kelly because we really don't know who gave you the marijuana and alcohol, and you don't say who gave you the marijuana and alcohol. More than likely, you probably came to the set or the event high and drunk anyway, because that's basically what a lot of teenagers do. If you accepted the marijuana and alcohol, it probably means that you've done it before. And if you've done it before, it's likely that you came to the set or you came to the event high and drunk, or you got high and drunk as you indicate at the event. But that's not R. Kelly's fault that you got drunk and high. The other thing that stands out is that they say that R. Kelly came into the room exposed. Check it out.
Did it turn from exciting and cool, you're
Oh,
with R.
boy.
Kelly, to terror?
He entered the room already exposing himself to us.
Scared, Rochelle shut herself in the bathroom. That's when Latrice alleges R. Kelly sexually assaulted.
So notice she says he came into the hotel room already exposing himself to us. She didn't she didn't describe fear. She didn't describe terror. She didn't describe panic. The news commentator described that, right? The news commentator basically said they were scared. But when you look at her face and you look at the expression on her face, you can clearly see that those emotions were not there. Now, it could be that this happened so long ago that you basically, you could forget those feelings and those emotions. But if it traumatized you, and I'm not a psychologist, right? I'm not a psychotherapist or anything like that. But if you were traumatized by something, I would imagine if you're telling the story, you're going to tell it with some type of emotion. Or if you're not going to tell it with emotion, you're going to describe what you felt at that time. She was like, just like, oh, well, he came in the room naked. So to me, it makes me think that you were down for whatever was going to happen, right? I think the woman that said that he came in the room naked video, she went to the bathroom while R. Kelly and her friend did whatever they did. But her going to the bathroom to me sounds like she didn't want to participate, right? So she went to the bathroom to let her girlfriend do whatever she was going to do, right? So that's the other thing that stands out. And then there's a third thing that stands out. The other thing that stands out to me, and it's not necessarily something they said or did, but I'm just really listening to what the news commentator tells us. And she basically says that one of them is 16 and one of them is 15. And this is really important. It's really important for one major reason, right? But let me just go ahead and play this so you can hear the age, and then you can hear them associate the names with their ages. Check it out.
For best friends, 16-year-old Latrice Scaff and 15-year-old Rochelle Washington, it's the concert of their.
So you got it. Latrice is 16 and Rochelle is 15.
He entered the room already exposing
So let's see which one is Rochelle and let's see which one is Latrice.
himself to us.
Scared, Rochelle.
So we can see Rochelle, the one that didn't have sex, was 15, right? And then we can only assume that the other one is Latrice, right? So now this is very important. It's extremely important, and here's why. So this is why I say it's important, because a quick Google search of the age of consent in Baltimore, and it basically comes back for Maryland, the age of consent is 16. And then it looks like someone asks a question: can a 16-year-old date a 21-year-old in Maryland? And then it just blatantly says the age of consent is 16 in Maryland. If she were 15 and he was 21, it would be a criminal act. It's not a good situation, but legally nothing can be done, right? So 16 is the age of consent in Maryland. According to Google, basically, if the if the person is 16, then they can legally consent to sex. I don't necessarily condone this. I don't think it's right morally. I don't think a grown man should be having sex with a 16-year-old, but it's important that we separate morals from the actual law, right? But let's just be sure. So here's another site. It's called thepeopleslaw.org, and it says the age of consent and ages of consent in Maryland. And then it has the age of the defendant and then the age of the victim. And if we go down to 16, basically a 16-year-old can have sex with basically anyone, all the way up to 21 and beyond, right? So to me, this story is really just unbelievable because number one, you're going to a club to see your idol. It more than likely you were drinking and smoking. And I say more than likely you were drinking and smoking because you accepted marijuana and alcohol from somebody at the party, right? And you wouldn't have accepted this unless you had done it before. And if you hadn't done it before, I'm pretty sure you would have included that in the actual interview. You probably would say, well, look, I've never smoked marijuana, I've never drunk before, and basically, I decided to try it, so on and so forth. That's me basically embellishing or me just trying to make sense of it all. There's nothing in the story that made me believe that was their first time drinking and smoking. So you were probably already drinking and smoking before you came to the party, and then you got to the party and somebody offered it to you. That person wasn't R. Kelly, and essentially you go to a hotel room. Why are you going to a hotel room? You're already at an after party, and now you're deciding to go to a hotel room. I mean, I just don't believe this story. I can't see how anybody in their right mind can believe this story. And then you hear Rochelle tell you that R. Kelly comes into the room naked. You get up and you decide to go to the bathroom. So to me, that tells me there was already a conversation about something happening, right? There was already a conversation about doing some adult things, and one person agrees to go to the bathroom and wait. And you can clearly hear Latrice tell you in the interview that R. Kelly asked for some things to be done, and she did it. Now, what's not being told in this story, I would wonder if there was any money given. That's what I would wonder. Did they go to a hotel room strictly to hang out with R. Kelly? Did they go to the hotel room because maybe money was offered? And now, because of all this hoopla, all this crazy allegations against this man, they're deciding to come out with this story to get extra money? Because to me, it seems like they were cool with it. But now we go through this thing where it's okay to come out with something that happened 20 years ago because someone else came out. uh, More than likely you're just coming out because you just changed your story. You had an agreement back then to go to the hotel room to basically do what you did for money, right? You had an agreement then, and now because you see an opportunity to get some extra money, you want to switch up your story and come back out and retell the story and make this man look like he did something wrong. But even when you listen to what they're saying, the allegations that they're making doesn't incriminate R. Kelly. It clearly doesn't. You said somebody gave you marijuana and alcohol. You don't allege R. Kelly gave you marijuana and alcohol. From the way you tell the story as if R. Kelly probably didn't even know you were drinking and smoking, right? So he couldn't have, basically influenced you with marijuana and alcohol because he didn't even know that you were basically smoking. Then you say that he comes to the room and he exposes himself. Now, to me, the fact that one goes to the restroom and then the other one stays, to me, that tells me there was an agreement. Then, when you listen to her tell the story, he asked for something to be done and she did it. And then she says that she did it because she was under the influence of marijuana and alcohol. But again, R. Kelly didn't give you the marijuana and alcohol, so how could he know that you were high and drunk? And then when you just look at the overall demeanor of the ladies telling this story in this interview, it's just 100% completely unbelievable. So, that's pretty much it for this video. Leave your questions, comments below. Let me know if you think these ladies are believable. Leave your questions, comments, and below, and let me know if you think R. Kelly broke the law in this situation. I want to hear from you. Let me know what you think.